This is Fantasy Football Today from CBSSports.com.
We are back here on Fantasy Football Today, and we are taking your tweets at CBS Fantasy FB, and it's time to say hello to a new face. Questions with Katie. Oh, she's already happy. She's already laughing. Katie Rotolo, what's up?
What's up, guys? How are you?
K-Ro is in the house. Katie, what are people saying on Twitter? Fire away with a question.
All right, we've got some questions for your expert advice. Hutch Daddy 23 asks, should I start Tony Romo or RG3 this week?
Definitely not my expert advice, but I'll let you field this one, Nando.
You know, at a certain point, when things are kind of even, you want to go with a guy you just kind of want to watch and root for. I'll go RG3.
All right. Agree,
Right?
disagree?
Yeah, I think RG3 has an opportunity here. It's going to depend on Garcon, though. If Garcon's out, that's really going to lower RG3's value a little bit.
All right. Nathan?
I'm going to go with Tony Romo. He does it week in and week out. The guy produces fantasy points. I'm starting him this week.
K-Ro, what's up next?
All right, guys. Mean Gene 15 asks, Titus Young or Brandon LaFell rest of season for the fourth wide receiver spot?
Titus Young or Brandon LaFell?
I'm not giving up on Titus Young just yet. I do love Brandon LaFell. He's been one of my favorite guys coming into the season. But I still think if I got to take the number 2 guy for Matthew Stafford, I'll take that just by a slight nod over Brandon LaFell. I'm not ready to punt on Titus Young just yet.
Ooh.
Every single word you said, I agree with. I'm on the Titus Young train still.
Nathan, agree?
Yes, absolutely. I'd keep Titus Young. I think the upside there, we saw 6 touchdowns in 9 games to end the year. Got to keep his attitude in check, though.
Yes, he does. So does Katie Rotolo. What do you got for us, Katie?
All right, thanks, guys. Sports Fanatic T says, why is nobody talking about James Jones? Is he not worth a waiver claim with Jennings injured?
Sports Fanatic T has not been watching Fantasy Football Today. Nathan, we've been talking about James Jones.
No question about it. James Jones, you got to get him in there. He scored in Week 1 after Jennings went out. Last year against the same Chicago Bears team, Week 16, 51 yards and 2 touchdowns for Mr. Jones with Jennings out of the lineup. We're talking about him. You need to start listening, and I think he's a great number 3 receiver.
We want a harder one, Katie.
All right, let's try this one. A. Hernandez 2615 asks, which 2 receivers should I start? Vincent Jackson, Torrey Smith, Antonio Brown, or Randall Cobb?
How about Aaron Hernandez tweeting us?
Does that make you feel good?
Yeah. Well, who would you go with? 2 receivers.
Well, I'm going to go with Vincent Jackson for sure. I like the matchup against the Giants. We saw what their secondary looked like in that game against the Cowboys last week. The second one's a little bit more of a toss-up. You know, do you trust Randall Cobb at this point to put him ahead of a guy like a Torrey Smith or an Antonio Brown? I might give Brown the starting nod, even though we don't know where Darrelle Reeves is going to line up. Is he going to take away Mike Wallace or is he going to take away Brown?
That's what's my big concern there is the Mike Wallace and Darrelle Reeves factor, which is why I think I'm just going to stick with the X factor and Cobb and roll the dice, see what happens. It could blow up. It could be great.
Let's go to Nathan.
There's no question Vincent Jackson's the guy you need to start. Every receiver last week on the Dallas Cowboys averaged over 10 yards per target and over a point per target against that secondary, so you got to go with him. The other wide receiver, I have Brown and Cobb actually even at 10 points, so to me it comes down to whether or not you're in a PPR league. If you are, I'd go with Cobb because I think he's going to catch a higher volume of balls. If not, I'm going to stick with downtown Antonio Brown.
All right. Katie, let's get
I thought
another
Dave
one.
was downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Dave is downtown Dave.
All right, guys. The Bree33 asks, should I start the Bears or Broncos DST this week? What do you guys think?
The Bears have the Packers, and the Broncos are at Atlanta.
Adam, why don't you take this one?
I'm not starting the Bears. Are you kidding me? I'll take the. I don't like either one.
There
I
you
try
go.
to pick up the Redskins.
Good answer.
Punt on both
Yeah.
and pick up the Redskins, the Bengals, the Raiders.
The Raiders.
All 3 of those guys have better. All 3 of those teams have better matchups.
I agree.
All right, Katie.
Katie,
All
Bears
right.
or Broncos?
Ooh,
Say
Bears.
Yeah, terrible answer.
The Bears. All right, the Paul asks, should I drop Williams for Jonathan Dwyer?
Ryan Williams. Should he drop Ryan Williams for Jonathan Dwyer?
No.
At this point, 2 days ago I would have said yes. Right now, no.
All right, Nathan.
No.
Okay, one more from Katie.
Trade Ryan in a package for Brandon LaFell and Ahmad Bradshaw.
You have to include Andre Johnson in there. Katie, what you got?
All right, Marcus Ari asks, do I start James Jones over either Vincent Jackson or Mike Wallace this week?
It's a tough one. Nathan, I'll let you field that one first.
Definitely not over Vincent Jackson. You could make the case to start him over Mike Wallace. Don't forget, last year in the last 8 games of the season, Mike Wallace averaged under 50 yards receiving a game. Under 50 yards receiving in Week 1, did have a touchdown, could be locked up with Revis. So sure, I'll take my shot with James Jones, I think, from pure upside point of view.
I agree.
I'd rather have the duo of Wallace and Jackson than James Jones. I don't know. I think Jones is a great play. I just don't think he's as sure of a thing as the other 2.
Katie, great job. Thanks a lot. How about
Thanks,
Katie
guys.
Rotolo?
Welcome to the show.
Remember, I gotta say it. You can't spell Rotolo without Roto. She's all about fantasy.
You are
fantasy
such
nerds.
a nerd.
Oh, huge nerd. Come on, that's what fantasy's all about. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, for watching Fantasy Football today. Jamie, thanks a lot.
Thanks, buddy.
Nando, thanks a lot. I want to thank Nathan Zagura for joining us. Remember to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/CBS Sports Fantasy Football, Twitter @CBS Fantasy FB. All the latest news, fantasynews.cbssports.com. Tomorrow on the show, we help you set your lineup and talk Packers-Bears.